Hello everyone, welcome to Crown Biology classes. This is Rohit Chaudhary, and in today's lecture we are going to study the topic named Class Reptilia under part 16 of Animal Kingdom series. So before studying the characteristic features, let's have a brief introduction of Class Reptilia. It includes about 6,000 living species. About 200 million years ago, in the Jurassic period, which is a part of Mesozoic era, Earth was inhabited by huge reptiles. This time is referred to as the Age of Reptiles. They were enormous in size, some 22-meter long, and existed on land, in water, and some in air. They were collectively known as dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus. The tyrant lizard was a ferocious. Ferocious means aggressive and violent. And flesh eating reptile. It walked on its powerful hind limbs and balanced the body on its tail. Dinosaurs became extinct about 65 million years ago. The present day forms are snakes, lizards, and crocodiles. So let's start class Reptilia. What does the term reptilia means? Reptilia is derived from the Latin word rapier or raptum. Rapier or raptum, which means to creep or crawl. To creep or crawl. So let's discuss the characteristic features which led to success of reptiles on land. The first one is class name refers to creeping or crawling mode of locomotion, as the term says, and they are mostly terrestrial animals. Mesozoic era was the golden age of reptiles. Why Mesozoic era is known as the golden age of reptiles? Because during this period, reptiles were the dominant land vertebrates and reptiles were the species which evolved during this period. The next feature is study of reptiles is known as herpetology. Herpetology is derived from the Greek word herpeton. Greek word herpeton, which means creeping animal. The next characteristic feature is these are cold-blooded or poikilothermal animals, also known as ectothermic animals. Why these are known as cold-blooded, poikilothermal or ectothermic animals? Because they cannot regulate their core body temperature. They rely on external sources to maintain their internal body temperature. The next feature is body is divided into head, neck, trunk and tail. As we can see in this picture, here lies the head. Here lies the head. Here is the neck. Here is the trunk and here is the tail. The next feature is exoskeleton is made up of horny epidermal scales or scutes. The exoskeleton of reptiles is made up of epidermal scales because the scales are derived from the epidermis, that is the outer layer of the skin. Epidermis is a single layer of hard tissue that protects the other layers of the exoskeleton. And the scales are made up of keratin that provides a complete covering to the body. As we can see in this picture, how beautifully the epidermal scales are shown. The next feature is skin is dry, cornified, rough and non-glandular. Why the skin is dry, cornified, rough and non-glandular? As to protect themselves from predators and to prevent water loss so that they can survive in dry conditions. The next characteristic feature is limbs when present are two pairs. So there are two pairs of pentadactyl limbs and each limb has 5 digits. As we can see, this is a limb showing 5 digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and the digits are with claws. Claws, also known as incurved nails. So in total there are 4 limbs present. That's why we call them as tetrapods, and pentadactyl means each limb has 5 digits. That's why we call them as pentadactyl. So collectively we do call them as tetrapods pentadactyl type. So this is the diagram of Calot's versicolor, and the common name of Calot's versicolor is garden lizard. Garden lizard. We can clearly see that one pair of forelimb and another pair of hind limb is present. So in total, 4 pentadactyl limbs are present. And the body is divided into head, neck, trunk and tail. The entire body of this lizard is covered by scales, and these scales are made up of keratin. The next characteristic feature is a complete alimentary canal is found in these animals, which opens into cloaca. Complete alimentary canal means 2 separate openings, one for ingestion and other for egestion is present, that is mouth and anus. The next characteristic feature is teeth are acrodont, pleurodont and thecodont type. All the 3 types of teeth are present. In this diagram we can see acrodont teeth. The acrodont teeth is the teeth which is attached to the terminal side of the jawbone. This is the jawbone and the teeth is attached to the terminal side or the terminal part. In pleurodont teeth what will happen? The pleurodont teeth, they do not have roots and the teeth are being fused by the lateral sides only to the inner surface of the jawbone. This is the jawbone and to its inner surface this pleurodont teeth is attached, or simply we can say that the teeth which are attached to the lateral side of the jawbone. Thecodont teeth are the teeth which are embedded in the sockets in the jawbone. So this is the jawbone and this particular teeth is embedded in the sockets in the jawbone. The next characteristic feature is respiration occurs through lungs throughout the life. So which type of respiration is present in the members of class Reptilia? Pulmonary respiration. Respiration through lungs. So this is the diagram of chameleon and this is the protrusible tongue. Protrusible tongue. This protrusible tongue can be extended and thrust forward. The next characteristic feature is heart is usually 3-chambered. In case of most of the reptiles, the heart is 3-chambered, but in case of crocodiles, the heart is 4-chambered. In this picture, a 3-chambered heart is shown. As you can see, left atrium and right atrium, 2 atria are present and a single ventricle is present with partial septum, and the partial septum helps in the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood partially. The left atrium will receive oxygenated blood from lungs, whereas the right atrium will receive deoxygenated blood from body, and the deoxygenated blood will be transferred to lungs for oxygenation. The partially mixed oxygenated and deoxygenated blood will be transferred to the body. The next important feature is sinus venosus is ill-developed. Sinus venosus is a thin sac-like chamber in the heart of reptiles and it receives systemic blood, and it is the first chamber to do so. Sinus venosus is located on the dorsal surface of the right atrium. Sinus venosus is made up of cardiac muscles and connective tissues. The sinus venosus contracts and it fills the atrium with blood. Truncus arteriosus, it should be OSUS. Truncus arteriosus is absent in case of reptiles. RBCs are oval and nucleated. We have studied in case of amphibians also that the RBCs are oval and nucleated. The next characteristic feature is only one occipital condyle is present in skull. But in case of amphibians that we have studied, there were present two occipital condyles. The occipital condyle in reptile is a rounded knob-like structure that connects cranium and vertebral column. It is present at the base of the skull and it articulates with the first vertebra. The occipital condyle allow reptiles to move their head up and down, side to side and rotate. The next feature is ribs are present in neck and thorax region. Ribs are present and they will be present in neck and thorax region. The next feature is one pair of metanephric kidneys are present. These metanephric kidneys are the final stage of kidney development and these are present in reptiles, birds and mammals. But the metanephric kidneys of reptiles are less advanced than those of birds and mammals with fewer nephrons and no loop of Henle. They are large and compact with many tubules. As we can see, this is the first stage of kidney development, that is pronephric kidney. Then comes intermediate stage of kidney development, that is mesonephros or mesonephric kidney. Then comes the final stage of kidney development, metanephros or metanephric kidney. So metanephric kidney is the final stage of kidney development and it is the kidney of adult reptiles. The next feature is brain is well developed and 12 pairs of cranial nerves are present. 12 pairs of cranial nerves are present in case of higher vertebrates such as reptiles, birds and mammals. The next feature is lateral line system is absent. So this lateral line system, it is a sensory system that helps fish to detect movements and vibrations in water. So it is absent in case of reptiles. The next feature is at the roof or ceiling of buccal cavity, Jacobson's organ is present. This is important. Jacobson's organ is also known as vomeronasal organ. Vomeronasal organ, and it is a chemoreceptor which helps the reptiles to detect scents and find prey. As you can see in this picture, the location of vomeronasal organ, it is located at the roof or the ceiling of buccal cavity and it acts as a chemoreceptor. The next characteristic feature is ureters, genital ducts and alimentary canal. All of these open into a single cloacal aperture. As we can see in this picture that all of these are opening into cloaca or the cloacal aperture. The next feature is these are unisexual animals, or we can say these are dioecious. These are dioecious. The next feature is they are mostly oviparous. Oviparous means they lay eggs. And the eggs are leathery and clidoic. Because the leathery texture protects the eggs and the clidoic nature allows them to be laid outside of water. The eggs are leathery and clidoic, that means the eggs are covered by a shell made up of calcium carbonate. The development is direct, that means there are no larval stages involved and parental care is often marked or seen in them. The next characteristic feature is all the three embryonic membranes are present. All three embryonic membranes, namely amnion, chorion and allantois. All of these are present in the members belonging to class Reptilia. As we can see, yolk sac is also attached to the embryo. The classes, namely Reptilia, aves and Mammalia. These classes are grouped under the group Amniota. Why? Because of the presence of extra embryonic membranes in them. Whereas fishes and amphibians are grouped under the group named Anamniota because of the absence of extra embryonic membranes in them. Let's study some of the examples of class Reptilia. Chelone, commonly known as turtle. It is an aquatic form. Testudo, commonly known as tortoise, it is a semi-terrestrial form. Chameleon, commonly known as tree lizard. Chameleon have arboreal life. Arboreal life. That means living in trees. Chameleon has long protrusible tongue that helps it to capture the prey. It has long and prehensile tail. It can change its color and it can camouflage with the surroundings. Then comes calotes. It is commonly known as garden lizard and it is also known as girgit. It is also arboreal and when excited, its head and neck turns red and trunk becomes pale yellow. The male performs a peculiar courtship dance before female. Then comes crocodilus, commonly known as crocodile, alligator, commonly known as alligator, hemidactylus, commonly known as wall lizard. It can walk upside down the ceiling by creating vacuum. It breaks off its tail when attacked to confuse the animal and escapes. It can regenerate its lost tail. Then comes poisonous snakes. The first one is Naja, cobra. Naja Naja, also known as Indian cobra, and the venom of Naja Naja is neurotoxic. Bengaris is also a poisonous snake, also known as krait, commonly known as krait, and its venom is also neurotoxic. And the next one is Vipera, also known as viper. It is also a poisonous snake and it is viviparous as well. The head is differentiated from the body and its venom is hemotoxic or cardiotoxic. Let's have a look at the pictures of the examples that we have just studied. The first one is Chilon, commonly known as turtle. It is an aquatic form. As you can see, it is in water. The next one is testudo, commonly known as tortoise, and it is a semi-terrestrial form. The next one is chameleon. It is commonly known as tree lizard. It lives an arboreal mode of life, that means it lives in trees. It has a long protrusible tongue which can be used to capture the prey. And it has a long prehensile tail, as we can see. And it can change its body color according to the surrounding. That means it shows the phenomena of camouflage. So it is a chameleon. The next one is calotes, commonly known as garden lizard, and it is also known as girgit. It also lives an arboreal mode of life. When excited, its head and neck turns red and its trunk becomes pale yellow. And the male members of this species, they perform a peculiar courtship dance before the female. This one is crocodile. This one is alligator. This is hemidactylus, commonly known as wall lizard. It can walk upside down the ceiling by creating vacuum. It breaks off its tail when attacked to confuse the animal and escapes. It can regenerate its lost tail. The next one is Naja naja, commonly known as the Indian cobra. It is a poisonous snake and its venom is neurotoxic. The next one is Bengaris, commonly known as crate. It is also a poisonous snake and its venom is also neurotoxic. The last one is Vipra, commonly known as viper snake, and it is also poisonous. Its head is differentiated from body. It is viviparous, and the venom of this snake is cardiotoxic or hemotoxic.